Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, hey everyone, this is the Loose Cannon David McBee, and so glad to have you join us for another episode of TLSN Overtime. And I got a guy, I've been trying to nail this guy down for a couple years, man. He's hard to nail down, but finally got Coach Robbins, Josh Robbins. So glad to have you join us here on TLSN Overtime.
Hey, I appreciate you having me in this morning.
Yeah, well, I know you're a busy man, got a lot going on, especially baseball. You guys coming down the stretch in baseball. Big night tonight, senior night coming up with your boy playing baseball. So, and you guys are having a good baseball season so far this year.
Yeah, I believe that they've had they got a lot of pitching. Their hitting has been good this year. The conference is tough, obviously, but if they win out, they're going to have a chance to be in the top half and opportunity to go to regional tournament, which is always good.
Cool. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about basketball today, since especially when it comes to basketball and flipping. You've been the man the last several years. I've been at flipping since 2017. Where did you kind of coach at before you came to flipping?
I've traveled around a little bit. My very first job was at Naylor, Missouri. I was doing my student teaching at Greene County Tech, and it's a funny story. Because when you first get done with your student teaching to young coaches, they probably don't understand that they'd be better off if they took an assistant's job and learned the ropes on how to deal with things. But I thought I had it all figured out, so I wanted a head coaching job right off the bat. Got an interview at the little tiny school in Missouri called Naylor, and showed up the interview. I get home and they call me the next morning and say that they offered me the job. And I was like, man, I must have done even better than I thought. So anyway, long story short, I get to my first meeting with the team players, and it was literally like a bad news bears scene. My best player comes up to me, says, "Don't worry, coach, we're going to do better next year." And I go, "Yeah, how did you do last year?" He goes, "We didn't win a single game, coach." So there was a reason why they've got a brand new coach that's never coached before to take that job. But we had success there. By the time first year there, we won 6 games, and after that, we were 500 or better the rest of the years, and it was a really good learning experience. But it was definitely harder on me than it had to be. But it was a good learning experience as a young coach.
Yeah. So, what kind of inspired you to become a coach in the first place?
I was very fortunate. I had a really good coach. Actually, I wasn't even going to play basketball. Tried out for the junior high team just because at Marmaduke, everybody tried out for the junior high team. It was kind of everybody got put in there, then they kept the best players and put them on the team. It wasn't really a choice at Marmaduke. And then I didn't make the cut, and they put all the 7th graders in a basketball period together. And the coach came over to me one day and said, "Hey, you have a game Saturday." Because some kind of, I went home and told my mom, and back then, teachers just listened to parents and coaches, and they just played their role. And she was like, "Okay." So I had to be at the gym at 8 a.m. and I got on my bike, rode up to the gym, and that kind of got me started. That somebody showed interest in me and saw potential. And then after that, that's kind of what my biggest motivation in coaching is to help the kids that were in situations where they need help. And then the ones that just need basketball, those are the easiest ones, because I feel like that's the easy part is coaching on basketball. It's the other stuff that's kind of hard, but somebody did that for me, and I wanted to be in that position for them.
Well, I know a lot of times I have to get to the gym early, especially depending on the times the games are scheduled. So there's been some times I've been up there at like 4 o'clock, 4:30 having to set up, especially when we do like the RVS tournament and stuff. And I've gotten a chance to kind of hear you while I'm setting all the equipment up. You're down there coaching your team. And I really enjoy that because you do take a real teaching perspective when you're going over, especially plays. It sounds like you do a lot of film work too, because you talk a lot about, hey, we saw this, this is what we need to watch for. But your teams, you always have very well prepared. And I enjoy listening to your practices.
I appreciate that. We try to spend time preparing the. I mean, you got to know your team's strengths, and what they're capable of retaining. And we were very fortunate this year that we had some high IQ players, so I was able to give them a little bit extra when it comes to prep time. Other years, you got to let them just play more and not give them as much prep, and try to get them to play hard and make up for mistakes with effort.
Yeah, and speaking of this year, you came flipping 2017. You've had 4 seasons, over 20 wins so far, and this last year was a huge year for you guys. I think 28-12. You went 10-4 in conference, and I mean, I'll tell you what, that 3A conference that you were loaded up in, that is a tough conference. But you guys had a tremendous year this year.
Yeah, we won 29 games. We went 11-3 in conference. Bergman beat us twice. We split with Melbourne. Um, and we had a really tough conference, and we're in a tough region, which made it even harder. So for us to make it through the district, I felt like it was positive, because you had to make it through your district, and those teams were the ones most prepared for the regional tournament. Sometimes it works where your district's not very challenging. You get to a regional game and you haven't been playing those types of games. We didn't have that problem this year. I felt like our kids were comfortable in that game. They were ready for it, and we were fortunate to be able to win that game to qualify for state.
Well, I know, we would check the standings or the rankings through the state, and that 3A2 had three top 10 teams with Melbourne, Bergman, and you guys. So it was cool when we would do games this year, because I'm like, oh, another top 10 matchup between these teams. So and Melbourne, who made the state championship, you guys split with them, I think, during the regular season, and then just I think there was a call not made at the end of that game. We won't go too deep in that, but I
Yeah.
mean, you guys fought them down to the wire in your other match against them.
Yeah, it was definitely an advantage for them having those games on their home court. They were a little bit more comfortable in those close game scenarios. But we definitely had opportunities to beat them. We had a lead on Osceola late in the game. So I feel like that with this team, there wasn't a whole lot left on the floor. We tried to max out our potential, but also uh, it's even more kind of like a feeling that you didn't reach your ultimate goal when you know you were that close. So even though we got to that point, we felt like that if we'd taken care of some small details, that we would have had more opportunities. So it's kind of a bittersweet, I guess.
Well, I've really enjoyed covering the team the last few years. Your son, Rylan Robbins, and I think I got to broadcast one of his first games with the Bobcats, and then, some of his last games, and was honored to. I know XL7 Sports, they did a beautiful plaque for him this year that they had me come over and present for him. And I know last time I talked to you was he had just passed 2,000 points, and we were getting ready towards the end of the year. Where did he end up on the overall points?
He went back and figured it all up at the end with all the books and then all the huddle and all that stuff. And he was short of 2,500. He was kind of down, a little bit down about, because 2,500 is like a huge milestone in high school. So he was a little bit short of that. I think he was like 7 points short of 2,500. So if we win that game at Lamar, he definitely hits that mark, and we're playing in the final eight of the state tournament. So that'd have been nice.
Well, he had an outstanding career, and so what was that like? What was that experience for you like to get to coach your son for all these years?
It was mostly positive. I think looking back at it now that we've been removed from the season, I'm just thankful that me and him have so many things in common. So it enabled us to develop that bond, and I'm thankful for that, because through sports we're going to be connected, not only as father and son, but as people that enjoy something outside of the relationship of father son. So that even makes the bond even closer. So it was good. Him having to be put in the situations he was in with his dad as the coach was probably more unpleasant for him than it was for me, because that's a tough position to be in as a player and have to be the person that is the leader on the floor a lot of the times. But he was very fortunate when we got here that he had some kids around him that really fell in love with basketball also, and they played basketball with him from fifth grade up. They became great players themselves and were able to carry a lot. And I would say that it's one of the strongest groups of seniors that have come through Flippin since I've been here, definitely. And I would say probably one of the strongest groups that's been through here in recent history.
Yeah, you had a lot of senior leadership in that group. I know, there was a Wire, you had Glenn, Copeland, Ryland, really strong group there. So going into the next season, I mean, you're losing a lot of senior leadership. Who's going to be the next batch that's really going to need to step up in the next year for Flippin' Bobcats?
I think that's something that makes that gives us an advantage is we're in the gym a lot. Our kids are in the gym a lot. So a kid that might not even have gotten playing time this year could end up being a starter and a role player next year. We're very blessed that we had the sophomore group that that won. I think they won the conference. I can't remember exactly what their record was, but they only lost one game. I think it was 29-1 or 30-1 as freshmen. So they're going to be juniors next year. And that group is very similar to my senior group this year. They really enjoy basketball. They're already playing in the summer on travel teams. They're coming in and shooting extra. They're in the weight room working on their own outside of what we do as a team. So I think they're really excited about the role that they're going to be. So I think it's going to be a lot easier on me because they want that job.
And that is the one thing I'll say with the Flippin' group. I've noticed that, they're involved in a lot of different things. Like, I see like them posting like Be Elite stuff. And, I know Chris Wire, and I got to give a shout out to him. He was our number one fan for 39 out of 52 weeks last year. So he's
Yeah.
our most active person on our page. But I mean, you have a lot of parent involvement and a lot of outside stuff that they're doing to help prepare them for the season.
Yeah, programs you do have to have a coach that has a leadership quality and a vision about where they want the team to go. But if you don't have the buy-in from the parents, it's hard to pull kids along to the highest level that they can reach if you don't have the support of the parents. And our support, our success here at the school has been because of our parents' success. So I'm very proud of the parents that we've had and the involvement that they've done, whether it be coaching or taking them to games or helping out, feeding them, just basically showing their kids that we support what you're doing. We support the coaches, we support the school, and it's been great for us.
Well, speaking of Ryland, so is he going to continue to play on in college, or is that the plan?
Yeah, he's actually we have workouts this week scheduled. Um, we're going to continue to try to find somebody, because that's the thing about this, you want to be somewhere where they want you to be. And I think that's one of the things that is tough. It's the first time we've been through this. I'm sure that he's it's not a fun thing to try to figure out the next step like that, because when you're a high school player, hey, I'm a 10th grader to an 11th grader to a 12th grader, so you already know where you're going to be. With this, you're trying to figure out where you're going to fit, how the coaching style is, how the academics are, what's the financial situations like. So there's a lot more variables that come into that. So we're finding out that it's not as easy as just playing high school basketball. But it is blessed that he has options and he has places, and we just got to make sure that we, just. I think the main thing is you just got to stay focused on trying to do what's best for him.
Yeah. Well, he'll be an asset to any program that he ends up in, and I enjoy calling his games too because, the first couple of years he was a post player, and to see him evolve to such a well-rounded game to also start moving on the outside, I think he'll help out whatever program he ends up on.
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, and we kind of mentioned, travel ball and all that type of stuff. I know you're really involved with the program that, especially in the Billy Ply tournament this year, that became really involved in that tournament, the Be Elite program. What can you tell me a little bit about the Be Elite program?
It's a local organization. It's ran by Todd Curry. He's a great ambassador for basketball in our area. He loves seeing kids on the court playing. He's done so much for the local kids in our area, giving them a place to play, whether it be on travel ball. And now we're moving into where we are opening up tournaments so that uh, the local parents, local coaches, local trainers can put teams together, and then we can provide a place for them to play. So we're doing an eight team circuit this year, eight locations, and it's going to be a circuit. We'll have, I mean, like our event coming up this weekend is going to have 150 teams in it,
Oh, wow.
third grade through 12th grade, boys and girls divisions, and we're also trying to uh, expand into our team camps, which is the first one that we're running this year. And then we also do exposure camps, which gives kids an opportunity to play in front of coaches. We hire assistant coaches at the collegiate level. They come in, they coach the teams, they train them, they go to film with them, they talk to them about the recruiting process and all that kind of stuff. And they get, so the kids that come and be a part of that, they get to play for college coaches in front of college coaches. So that's a pretty cool deal too, also.
Awesome. And I know you guys got a team camp that's being advertised right now on June 10th, 11th, and 12th over at the Creekside Community Center, which I mean, that place is absolutely beautiful. So I mean, it's gonna be a great place for a team camp.
Yeah, we're trying to get it to where we have all divisions there. Year one, we're averaging about 20 teams a day, plus JV and junior high. So I haven't done the math on it yet, but every day that facility is going to be full. Coach Staller at Harrison is going to let us use the high school. Also, he's going to bring his team. We're going to partner with the high school and the city to expand the courts so that we can see this thing grow.
I know about 10 years ago when I was coaching my son when he was playing, we used to play in, I think it was Maybe was the name of the
Yeah.
league thing that we used to do. So,
Hmm.
and it's cool. I mean, Maybe was good, but it sounds like it has nothing on what the Be Elite is set up as. So it sounds like this Be Elite is going to be a great program.
Yeah, I think it's got a chance. We're fortunate to have support. This is year one of the circuit, and it seems to be growing momentum through each event. So we hope that by the time we get to event 4, 5, and 6, that we have established something that can be recreated again next year, and it can grow.
Okay. And for those fans out there watching, we'll share, we got the little flyer posted up. We'll share that. I'll put that in the comments under this. So that way,
Uh,
if you want to register, because I believe they get a hold of you, right, Coach?
yes, they can contact me. I've got a list actually right here to my left of all the teams that I'm adding to daily.
Okay, awesome. Well, I know you're a busy guy, so I got a couple rapid fire questions before I let you go. So, but it won't be anything too tough. But you got
Okay.
just for a couple quick rapid fire.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's start off. What's the last show that you've been watched?
Uh, I'm more of a movie guy. Um, that's probably the one that I've watched all the way through. Shoot, I can't even think of a show that I've watched all the way through.
But what's the last movie that you watched?
I watched one last night. Actually, it was really good. It was on that Pure Flix. I don't know if you've heard of that before,
I haven't
but
heard.
it's called Free Burma Rangers. It was a true documentary on this guy who started anyway, it's a Christian film, and it's a documentary. It's a true story. It was pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I've been in documentaries lately, and for some reason I was in mountain documentaries where it's all mountain climbing, Mount Everest documentaries, and
Yeah,
transitioned to tornadoes. And now we're having tornadoes. Seems like they're coming through here
yeah,
this week. So
I hear that.
all right, now this is a tough one for some people. To me, this is a no-brainer. Who's the GOAT, LeBron or Jordan?
I have to go with Jordan. I have
Yeah.
to go with Jordan. That's the one I grew up watching, and I would say without a doubt he's the most competitive human being I've ever seen on the court.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. So far in your coaching career, what's been the most memorable moment of your career so far?
Um, I would say memorable moment is anytime we have success, when we're an underdog, when people aren't expecting us to be successful, and we are. I think that was good. Our very first year, we went into the regional tournament as a 4 and qualified for the state tournament. I would say that was a pretty nice moment for our program, qualifying as a 4. So I'd probably pick that probably.
Okay. So this is the last one. What is something the fans might not know about you?
I'd say I'd say the number one thing they don't know about me is the ones that don't know me is that there's no way I could possibly have that demeanor all the time or I wouldn't be alive still. So I definitely get into game mode. And once I'm in game mode, there's another side to me that has nothing to do with being competitive.
Yeah. Well, I got to admit, when we're streaming, if you start to get really fired up, I always nudge Joey, the guy that does it with me. I say, zoom in on him, zoom in on him. 'Cause, yeah, it makes it a little more entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Coach, again, thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time. We're excited, looking forward to covering you guys again this year. Of course, great fan base, great teams. I love watching your teams are fun to watch too. Great ball movement, no hesitation on offense. Your ones when I'm going to flip, I was like, hey, it'll be an entertaining game and it'll be a lot of fun. But we appreciate all you do supporting us with the school and stuff. And let us know anything Twin Lakes Sports Network can do for you, Coach.
Absolutely, same.
All right. Well, thank you again to Coach Robbins for joining us today. So for the loose cannon, David McBee, this next week, go out and do something nice for someone. And remember, your tomorrows are never guaranteed. You have a great week from all of us here at the Twin Lakes Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.